The VA, as part of a national federal government project, is doing cogeneration facilities all over the country. Okay? Cogeneration is an energy efficiency effort. Cogeneration means literally generate together. So usually cogeneration exists at places where they use steam for a part of their process, and they also use electricity. So at the VA, they use steam to heat and cool the building. So they already had a steam load. So what you do is you put an electric generator in, you use natural gas to make steam, you run the steam through the electric generator to produce electricity, and then you take the waste heat that would normally just be spent out into the atmosphere, and you send that into the building to heat and cool the building. Cogeneration has been around since the start of the electric utility industry. So like in the cities, like in New York City, when they first put electric generating plants in, they used electricity, the steam from the electricity, to heat buildings. So in the big cities, they use steam, so there was cogenerating all the time. So from the very beginning, electric utility industry, they're cogenerating. A lot of the land-grant universities like NC State and the university where I went at Bucknell had generation plants on site because they were out in the country and didn't have electricity. So you generate electricity and they say, well, if I'm going to generate this steam, I might as well use it to heat my buildings. So our role is to make sure that the VA's generator can connect safely to our system, because the generator never exactly matches, their output never exactly matches what the hospital uses. Usually the hospital uses significantly more than what it can produce, but occasionally they use less, and the electricity has to be able to be generated and delivered to our system, and safely. Our system has to operate safely when that's going on. So we had to put some new equipment in that the VA had to pay for so that could happen to facilitate this generator being in and operating safely. So most of the time we're providing energy and the generator is providing energy. Now, one of the advantages of this is generators are more efficient if they run all out. And so this generator is running all out all the time. And occasionally it'll throttle back, but generally it's running all out all the time. So it's as efficient an operation for a natural gas generator as you can get. And then we provide the excess energy. And so that's one of the reasons why we had to devise a standby rider for this, because when the generator goes down, we still have to have sufficient poles and wires there to serve that load that normally we don't serve. And so those poles and wires have to sit there and normally don't collect revenue. So the standby rider is the way we collect the revenue necessary to pay for those poles and wires. Key accounts is part of my area since I came here in 2013. It's part of the marketing and development group. So we have large customers, and I'll say not only large customers, but important customers. So Goodyear is our largest customer. The VA is a large customer, but people like the city and the county, which may not be large in their electric consumption, but are important customers, are key accounts. Some of the other ones are Cargill, Momentive, Purolator. So there's a lot of the accounts that are either large electrically and have different needs, or they're important strategically for the community. And so we have key account people who call on them. So they have specific people who are assigned, if they have questions, that they can call these people and get answers. So we've been working on this project, I would say, since about 2018. It typically takes a long time to do this. Okay, so the federal government is working with a division of Consolidated Edison, which is the electric utility in New York City. They have an unregulated arm that does this kind of project. So they were working with them. So several years ago, they talked about, we're looking like this. We want to know how it's going to work, and we had to work through them with how our procedures would work and what they'd have to do and how it would have to be connected, and we'd have to enter into an agreement, an interconnection agreement about everything's going to do that. So it took us about 3 years to get everything in place. So the hospital is going to save about $300,000 a year, even after the extra standby charges, and largely that's driven by being efficient, right? So before they were generating steam and they were using it to heat and cool the building, and then excess steam would have to be released into the environment. So now they use steam, they make electricity, they do that, and so there's less steam going in the environment, and because the generator runs efficiently, the electricity is provided efficiently, so it's inexpensive to provide compared to what it would be if it wasn't provided that way.